Hello and welcome to the Learn New Testament Greek channel. In this video we're going to be looking at basic nouns and the definite article that goes with them. There are several things to bear in mind with the definite article. From it we get the grammatical gender of the word. We also get the number, as in whether it's singular or plural. And we're going to get the case, which I will explain in more detail. The definite article will always agree with the noun that it goes with, so the case, gender, and number of the definite article will be the same as that of the noun that it goes next to. Sometimes the definite article can be used on its own, and we may translate that as the one. Sometimes the definite article is omitted where you might expect it. For example, there are references to Holy Spirit when we might expect the Holy Spirit. Usually we translate the definite article as the, but the English word the does not give us grammatical gender. I would recommend that you just bear in mind that there isn't always a very rigid translation of the definite article, and sometimes another word might be suitable, such as the one. Sometimes it might be better actually to omit the word the when you make your translation. But recognizing the definite article is really important. Sometimes the noun it goes with, particularly if that noun is from another language, will not have normal Greek endings, and so we would need to look at the definite article to find out gender, case, and number. The definite article is very useful in a number of ways. I'm going to give you in this video a basic, fairly quick run through of the different forms that it takes and the main things that you need to understand. Firstly, we will look at the feminine. If you need to remember what nominative, vocative, accusative, genitive and dative mean, then you can check out the video on English grammar, which will explain those, although I will make reference to them in this video. For nominative, the definite article in the feminine singular would be he. It doesn't change for the vocative. Accusative, tain. Genitive, tace, with a circumflex. We're going to see that circumflex a lot with the genitive. It's one of the things that tells us there's possession there. And then the dative, te. The dative also can be spotted easily because it has a circumflex due to a contraction of a letter, and also the contraction of the iota has been pushed underneath the eta because the Greeks wouldn't put an eta and iota together. So when they formed the dative endings, the iota gets pushed underneath. Neither the circumflex nor the iota change the pronunciation of the word, but they will flag up to us that it's a dative. Sometimes you might see an eta with a soft breathing and an accent, either grave or acute. These are not the definite article, they mean different things, which we'll come back to in future, but remember that the breathings and the accents can actually change the meaning of words. So on the left here we have a, but the definite article is going to be he. He, so notice the difference. Let's look at the plural as well. We have hi for nominative or vocative, tas for accusative, tone for the genitive, and that one's not going to change whether it's masculine, feminine or neuter. Then tais for the dative. For the masculine singular we have ho in the nominative, then for the vocative o. This is where we get the English O from when we say things like, "O Lord my God," or "O Lord." Accusative is ton, genitive is tu, And again, where we have that possessive word, we have that circumflex coming in there. And then the dative toe. Again, the dative has the circumflex due to a contraction, with the iota contracted being pushed underneath the letter. Again, an iota would not go up next to a lengthened omega in the same way that it would not go next to a lengthened eta, so it gets pushed underneath. Let's add the plural to that. You have hoi in both nominative and vocative, tous for the accusative, tone again in the genitive. As I said, it's the same for masculine as it is for feminine and neuter, and tois for the dative plural. Again, remember the dative and the genitive both will have circumflexes. With the neuter, there's a little less variation. For nominative, vocative and accusative, we just have ta. But do remember, when you say these words, you need to distinguish between short O and long O. They're different letters in Greek, omicron and omega. So we have ta for nominative, vocative or accusative, tu for the genitive, and toe for the dative. The genitive and dative singular in the neuter are the same as the equivalents in the masculine. Moving on to the plural, it's ta for nominative, vocative and accusative, still tone for the genitive plural, and like the masculine, tois for the dative plural. Well, we're still pretty early on in our learning, so I'll just give a minute to remembering how to pronounce those letters. The letter eta gives an A sound, and for the definite article, hey. The alpha iota gives an I sound, like in the word ice. The definite article for the masculine nominative singular is ho. Remember, it's a short O sound, not an O sound, like in hot. Ton is used several times, like in tonic. Tice, as in the word entice. Tois, which rhymes with the surname Boyce. And O, as in the word okay. If an omega had a hard breathing on it, it would also be ho, as in the word hope. And tous at the bottom, as in obtuse. It's got a soft sounding in the middle of it. So to give some examples of how this would sit with a noun, I've put in the word love. You're not going to find the word love in all these forms, in its plural forms, in this way, but it's just here as an example. So remember that the noun always agrees with the definite article. And that basically means that the ending of the noun will be the same as the definite article without the tau. So, hey got agape. It's lost its hard breathing as well. Hey agape for both nominative and vocative. Tain agapein for accusative. Tes agapes, te agape. If we went to the plural, again there's a hard breathing on the definite article, so we get hi agapi for nominative and vocative, tas agapas for accusative, tone agapone for genitive, and tais agapis for the dative. Here for the masculine, I've used the word logos, meaning word, or logoi, meaning words. The masculine singular is the only time that we will see a difference between nominative and vocative. So the nominative is hologos, as we get at the beginning of John's Gospel. If it was a vocative, it would be o loge. Accusative ton logon, genitive to logo and dative to logo. See again how the endings agree with the definite article, and except for the vocative, they pretty much look the same, just without the tau. In the nominative, masculine singular, a sigma has also been added to the ending, so hot logos. For the plural, we have hoi logoi for the nominative or vocative, tous logus for the accusative plural, ton logon for genitive plural, and tois logois for the dative plural. For the neuter, I've used the example of the word ergon or erga, the word for works. We see, for example, in James and in Paul's epistles when he's talking about works and the difference between between having salvation by grace or by works. So, to ergon is what we would find if it was nominative, vocative, or accusative. So we have to look at the context of the sentence to work out the difference between nominative or accusative. Vocative wouldn't really be used in this case for a neuter. Genitive is to ergu. Dative to ergo. And then in the plural, ta erga covers nominative, vocative, and accusative plural. Ton ergon for the genitive plural, and tous ergois for the dative plural. When you're looking at these on somewhere like Step Bible or Logos or Bible Hub, what you really need to do is look at what the case is, and then you can work out the role of that noun in the sentence. Nominative means it's the subject and it will be doing the verb. Accusative means it's the object and will be on the receiving end. Genitive is because of possession of association, and dative is an indirect noun in the sentence. The verb won't be done towards it. Vocative is used to address somebody, usually God or the Lord or Jesus. Sometimes it's used for apostles and other people. Now there are some irregular nouns which don't really follow the normal sorts of rules. For example, we have tis, which could be feminine or masculine. It would look like this: tis for nominative, tis for vocative, tina in accusative, tinos for genitive, and tini for dative. If it was plural, it would be tines, tinas for accusative, tinon, or tisin. This word could be translated what or who or anyone, so it could be a neuter, a masculine, or a feminine. If it was neuter, it would have endings like this: ti, te, tinos, tini, plural tina for nominative, vocative, or accusative, tinon, tisin. But what's really important to remember is that with these irregular nouns, the definite article stays the same. So we can still understand case, gender, and number from the definite article. Some of these which I've highlighted are the same. So the masculine singular definite article in the genitive is the same as the neuter equivalent, and the dative is also the same as the neuter equivalent. Feminine, masculine, and neuter, as I've said, also have tone in the genitive plural, and tois is used for the dative plural in masculine and neuter. So we will have to look at the context of the sentence to know which the grammatical gender is. Most of the time, if you're using a software or an app or a website or something, they will have done that for you. So let's look at some basic examples at the beginning of John's Gospel. On the right hand side I've put it in phonetic pronunciation, as you'll still be learning the Greek characters. So it starts out saying in the beginning, and the word for beginning is arche. There's a circumflex and an iota subscript under the eta. There's also logos, meaning word, and theon, meaning God. Remember, this is not theon, it's not a long E sound, but theon. So you might want to pause the video for a minute to answer this, but could you work out from these which is dative, which is accusative, which is nominative? You will no doubt remember the English. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. So which of those is the object doing the verb to be, was? Who is the subject of that verb, acting towards? And what is the other noun in the sentence that the verb is not directly acting on? Do pause the video if you need some time to think of your answer. So to start out, the word for beginning, arche, was dative. It has the iota subscript under the eta and the circumflex. It is a noun in the sentence, but it's not doing a verb, and it's not the object of the verbal action, so it's going to be dative. Logos is the nominative, it is doing the verb, in this case the verb to be. So in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. Then theon, the word for God, is accusative because the word was with God. So God is the object of the action of the verb to be. On the screen I've put an example from Bible Hub, which is very handy if you want to use it. If you look underneath each word, there's a little abbreviation with letters. The first letter being N will show you that it's a noun, and if it says art, that shows you it's a definite article. The next three letters will tell you the case, so N for nominative, A for accusative, D for dative, G for genitive. The middle letter will tell you the grammatical gender, feminine, masculine, or neuter, and then the last letter will be S or P for singular or plural. There's lots of others on there. You can check out their abbreviations page, but also the easiest thing to do is just run the cursor over that and it will bring up the whole parsing in full. You can also click on the strong number above the words to find out more information about them, and Bible Hub gives a handy phonetic pronunciation above the words as well. Here on this page I've highlighted with purple underline the nouns and put a green circle around the definite article. With the word beginning, it doesn't have a definite article in this case, arche. Then we have ho, logos, the nominative. Then it says again, kai ho logos, ein, the verb to be, was with God, ton theon. Then God was the word kai theos ein ho logos. So in that sentence, both God and the Word, God is the Word is God, they are both nominative. We also have a pronoun outos, meaning he, again that's nominative, he was. And the noun arche is used again, this time, again in the dative. Another question to help you remember these. Moving a little further on in John, we get words like darkness, Lord. The word for men, usually translated as people, it's not gender specific, and life. Which one of these could be vocative? You might want to hit the pause button. Remember, vocative is to address somebody. Well then, if you got that was kuri, This is one of the few words we have in the New Testament that is in the vocative case. The Lord or teacher or God, those are the main times that the vocative is used. It is sometimes used for people, but this word here is plural and a possessive. So it's probably not going to be in this case. Usually if it was addressing a person, it would be to their name specifically. And which of these words could be a genitive? Remembering that the genitive is about possession or association. Well done if you got that. It is anthropone. Remember the own bit, like the English word to own something, to possess something. And to finish, I've put some examples here. I've used a sort of berry colour to highlight the datives, and I've just underlined the D. This is on Bible Hub. That's that abbreviation. That means the dative. Again, just hover over it and it will bring up what P pro D M 3S means. In this case, it's a personal pronoun, dative, masculine, third person singular. But you just have to hover over that with your cursor and it will bring up all that information. The next noun is Zoe, the word for life, or one of the words for life. On the bottom line, we have hey Zoe, this time it's with its definite article. Then to, phos. Phos is neuter, so this is a nominative neuter noun. It's got a squiggly circumflex over the top because there's been a contraction in there. It's basically phos is short for photos, meaning light. And then ton anthropone, of men. And remember in Greek, whilst that is a masculine word, it's used, men is used as in how we would use the term mankind, or how older Bibles would use man or men, all men, for example, in a collective sense. It's mixed gender, and that grammatical sense of the collective in the masculine was true in ancient Greek as well. If it was specifically men, just males, we'd probably see the word andros or androi being used. But where it's anthropone, it's quite often translated as people. Here it is a possessive. The light is for them. It's their light. It enlightens their life. And the word photos, which derives from the ancient Greek phoatos, means a light that illuminates. It brings revelation. It brings clarity. It brings understanding. So it is the light of life for all humankind. Just to thank Bible Hub for all their great work. Remember, you can go to biblehub.com and click on the Interlinear Bible, put in at the top which book of the Bible you want to look at, and you can see the interlinear text there with the Greek alongside the English. It gives you the phonetic pronunciations, it gives you the parsing, dictionary definitions, and how that word is used throughout Scripture, and also some other information about how it's used in ancient Greek, for example. Thank you for coming along and watching this video. The suggestions for the next video to watch will come up on screen. Remember also, if you'd like to receive updates when new videos are uploaded, do click subscribe. There's no charge, but that will update you when new videos come on to this channel. And if you'd like to put any questions in the comments box, I will endeavour to answer them. If you like, then you can click the like button as well. That helps this channel to get more subscribers and more views when people search for terms like Learn New Testament Greek. Thanks for coming along, and I hope this video has been useful for you. Goodbye, and God bless.